Yeah, we're recording, mate.
Let me just open one more. I think I'm ready.
You think you're ready? That's good.
I think I'm ready.
Oh, do you want to do the introduction, mate?
Let me just clear my throat. I have one. I need the glug before I go.
This is supposed to be a professional podcast, mate. Let's go.
It's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another incredibly well-planned, meticulously organised episode of... Oh, wait a minute. Where's the script gone? Yes. Welcome to Seasoned Humour, the podcast where we bring you the finest blend of wit, charm, and apparently the occasional memory lapse. I'm your host, Lewis Williams, and I must confess I was immersed in the world of dad jokes and puns that I completely forgot to do a proper intro today.
What about me? Are you just hosting this yourself today?
I was distracted by the beer. I'd like to also welcome my friend Peter Main, my co-host.
How you doing, guys? Welcome.
I've got no. I should have had an applause button there.
You should have done that. Would have been even better. Like it's makes the it would have made the intro even better, especially if you just introduce yourself like you did and then did an applause. It'd have been like the Jonathan Ross show or something like that. That's been anyway. So this is going to be one of them podcasts. I think we're having a few beers and we are not really planning. We've not really planned this one out very well. Well, we don't plan any of the podcasts out, do we? Very well. Let's be honest.
No. In my head, I really wanted to do a cool intro this week, and as you know, I did plan a few things, and I've got things saved on my computer that I sort of planned, but it didn't kind of come to fruition, so we didn't have one.
Oh, it is what it is. The thing is, the thing about this podcast is, and the reason that we do the podcast is it's actually not supposed to be a planned podcast, and that most podcasts you listen to are very well edited. They have little cuts and little drops and stuff like that. The reason we don't edit this podcast up at all. We just leave it to run free and run wild, should I say? Like last week a little bit, and I was thinking about last week's episode, and even it went off on a little bit of a wild track last week, didn't it? And we deviated from probably what we wanted to say. Yeah, and I was a bit worried about the sort of reaction we was going to get from people. I'm going to be honest.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Like Rotten Tomato on the Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to be honest. It got quite a few messages outside of the podcast from friends saying that was the funniest episode I've ever listened to. And
do you get nervous? I get a little nervous.
Well, yeah, I do get nervous, mate. There's a couple of reasons I get nervous. Is one, I'm worried about what we're going to say. And what we're going to talk about, because we want to make this like a going down a pub chat. So when we do the podcast, we have a few beers beside us, and we obviously just chat rubbish and tell stories and stuff like that. And I do get nervous, and I do worry about what we're going to say, and I do think, what about what people are going to say? Will people listen to it?
By my third drink, I'm okay.
But yeah, that is it. So I think no, ultimately it's just a bit of fun. We're just sitting here having a few drinks. It's like our weekly catch up. So anyone who's listening to this for the first time, this is kind of like mine and Lou's weekly catch up. We have a little chat, we have a few beers, and we talk general rubbish, general chit chat. Few stories about ourselves. I mean, last week's one, if you haven't listened to it already, I suggest you go listen to it. But don't eat your dinner while you're listening to it, because that was there are some stories in there. There's a guy I work with. He went to me, I listened to your 4th episode today. He said, I was eating my lunch while I listened to it, and he said I had to stop, and I was like, All right.
Those cheese and pickle sandwiches don't taste the same.
And I was like, all right, why is that? And he went, yeah, just that bit where you spoke about what you did, and he said it just I had to come back to it, but no, ultimately we're just having a bit of fun, and we just try and have a bit of humour. Go on.
You're my weekly therapist.
Well, it's the same as me. I think it's pretty good to just have a sit and chit chat and talk about life in general. We I had a so for people that don't know, myself and Lewis, we do a bit of sort of content creation on the side and have a bit of fun and stuff like that. And I sent a message to the group chat earlier this week from a message that I got from a guy from a reel that I'd posted on Facebook, and it made me chuckle. It made me chuckle, and I shared it with the guys and said, look, it's you got to have a read of this message that this guy sent us, and what do you make of it? I'll read it out to you, and you can make of it what you will. But it got me thinking about some other stuff, and it was a little bit harsh. It's a bit of a cruel world, but so
just say it. The guy was a dick.
Yeah, an absolute. But it got me thinking about mental health a little bit, and I don't want this to be a mental health stream or mental health podcast because that's not what we're about. But it is good therapy to talk. So I got a message from a guy saying, "You are a fully grown man with tattoos and a receding hairline. It's time to grow up."
Why did he say receding hairline? I haven't got a receding hairline. What did he say that for?
Well, this is what I took as the humour, and I posted that to the guys in the group chat and said, "Look, have a look at this. What this guy's wrote." I wrote back to him and said, "Look, why does it matter what I do in my life? If I want to do play computer games, or if I want to do whatever, it is what it is. It's up to me. It's no point in judging people and all that." But I just thought if that's a young child or a younger kid, I mean, I'm fortunate, and the same with Lou. We grew up in a generation where banter in the 90s was probably quite.
We had Shaman, Spice Girls.
Well, yeah, exactly, and all that sort of stuff. But we grew up in an era where you didn't have social media, so if you was going to be nasty to someone, you're nasty to their face. Wasn't you?
I think you're right with that. I think it should be done on stages. Like you should have when do people normally have mobile phones? What age do you start? Do you reckon?
Well, I think nowadays it's even earlier, isn't it? So kids have got mobile phones when they're
give me an age,
like 8, 9, 10, 11.
All right, say 10, just to sort of set a bar. At 10, you should be given a Nokia.
3310 or something like that.
When you're 11, you get a Nokia with a flashy aerial. When you're 12, you're allowed to change the case. When you're 13, you're allowed to have what's a really guff mobile phone?
Well, they had the Sony Baby Ericsson.
Yeah, the BT Cellnet one with like did you ever have one of the ones? And I'm not saying I ever had one because that would be breaking the law. But did you ever have the BT Cellnet phone? You turned it off. Turned it back on, there was £100 credit.
I didn't know. I never had that. I did.
Me neither. I never had one of them.
Oh.
I'm totally against that. It's completely wrong.
Completely out of order. But that's like you say, and but it got. But I think it's quite funny. I thought like for someone of my age and working on building sites, being a bit more thick-skinned, I can take that as a bit of a joke. Whereas the someone else these days will be a little bit more offended by that, and it made me laugh because other people within the community decided to jump on that message and start abusing this guy, which I do not encourage. By the way, I don't think it's right.
Well, that's the thing, though. But you are quite loved on that community. Like it's your community, and there's like I don't know, there's like 600 people in the one on YouTube. There's more on the Discord.
He's burping because he's just took a big chunk of beer.
At least I'm muting myself, like some people.
No comment.
The point being, it's almost like everyone hides behind social media. Like, I don't get it when you have like someone said something nasty to me this week, and I let it slide. I didn't retaliate for there was a reason for it. But I get myself in so much trouble because if someone says something to me normally, and I've had it like in the past in like work scenarios, and someone will say something, and I'd rather say it to someone's face, really bluntly, and just have a conversation. But people don't like that. I'll give you a perfect example of this. Right, this is one of my like in deep psychological tips of the day.
Well, look. Let's just before you do it. This is the more serious side of us that we, and this is the great thing about this podcast. We can be really stupid or we can be really serious. It's what we want to do with it.
Oh, I'll have you know, when I'm not doing this, my nickname's Serious Lou. Or am I not being serious saying that? Who knows? Have you muted yourself and you're laughing there? When you're in your car,
brilliant,
and you're coming onto a motorway or you're in traffic, right? And the guy next to you or the female next to you might be won't let you in. If you don't make eye contact, they'll not let you in. Beep your horn, look at them and go, put your thumb up and go, is it okay if I squeeze in there? And they go, yeah, no problem at all. Why when you ask someone, they go, yeah, it's fine. But if you don't make eye contact, they'll never do it. I challenge anyone to do that. If you're stuck in traffic and no one lets you in, just toot your horn, look at them and go, is it okay if I go in there? And they go, yeah, no worries. They'll never say no.
It was confrontation. I think it's exactly what you said. It's the confrontational side of it, isn't it? It's you looking
that's politeness.
But it's you looking directly into their soul.
If I'm waving a knife, different story. if I'm holding a head in one hand, I'm holding a knife in the other hand, and I'm going, can I go in there? They go, no problem at all, you crazy bastard. But it's not. It's just politeness, I think, personally.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're right. It's the world is mad like that now. Like, people do literally hide. You can't post anything on social media without someone putting a negative comment on it. Like, I love posts. I love commenting on posts, right? That someone will say something in the local area about something, and I like putting random comments on them that have got nothing to do with the actual post. And I think it's quite amusing because the person they don't know what to do. They like just generally thumbs up your post or whatever.
Well, you know, because I've contacted you before and said like something's upset me because someone commented on something I've done, and it bothered me, and you're the one that tells me, oh, don't worry about it. Yeah. And probably since then I haven't really worried about it.
The problem is, right, like with this podcast, so that and this is kind of obviously where how we got into this is I wanted to do a podcast that could be comical but also sometimes a bit more serious, because although, and I want to make
I just want to spend time here.
I want to make people laugh. I appreciate that, and I feel the same. I want to make people laugh, and I want to make people smile, and it's actually quite nice hearing people say to you, "Do you know what? Your podcast is hilarious. It's really, really funny." Obviously, some weeks it's going to be hard to make it really funny because things don't always happen to us in the week that we might be able to tell funny stories. So we're going to have them moments where we might be a little bit more serious, and it might be a bit more.
Why do you say serious more this week than the other weeks? Because I haven't saved my Pete Serious moment jingle.
Have you not?
If you told me you were going to do this, I would have saved my Pete Serious moment jingle.
But look, I think like let's wrap this conversation up and talk. I've got some other things I want to talk about.
Can you say for me just very quickly in like a X Factor style voice, Pete Serious moment?
Pete Serious moment. Pete serious moment. You can save that for the future.
Yeah, we'll do.
But no, as I say, look, we wanted just to have a bit of fun with the podcast, and that's what it is. And regardless of what people say and what people comment on, it is what it is, and we move on with our lives, and it doesn't affect us. And we're going to have weeks where we're going to be funny. We're going to have weeks where we might be a bit serious. We try and make it as funny as we can, and that's what it is. But I was changing the subject, mate. I was reading on Facebook the other day, and on one of the, I think it was like, I don't know what page it was. It was on one of the pages, and it said that a guy in, I think it was Thailand or China, had been done through customs, and he had 12 snakes in his pockets.
Hang on a minute. let me just take that in. How did you go from Thailand to? They're like totally different places.
Thailand to China. Well, I think he flew from Thailand to China or something like that. He went one way or the other. I think he was flying from Thailand to China. I can't remember precisely.
Like saying I was in Ireland, maybe Spain.
but so, and he got caught trying to smuggle snakes into China, I think, from Thailand. And so he'd already got through passport control at Thailand with the snakes in his pocket. He'd got on the
snakes.
He got on the plane with the snakes. There were little, I don't know, like
no,
1 meter.
I know this one.
1 meter.
I know this one. I know it. They made a movie. They literally made a movie.
Well, he literally had snakes on a plane, like for the journey from Thailand to China. I don't know how far it is. He then got to China to go through passport control, and they pulled him. So what was that conversation? And this is what got me thinking. What was that conversation? Hello, sir. Can you come to the side? What is that moving around in your pants?
Nah, they knew. They knew. What's happened there? Dave in Thailand's gone, listen, mate, we'll go halves. It's completely legit. Just tell me no George Clooney. Walk straight through customs, no problem. And then he's like, yeah. He's offered him a massive ransom, or not ransom, that's like when you kill people, isn't it? He's offered him like a massive payday to take these snakes to China. And then he gets there and they're like, ooh, purple-head snakes, ooh, they're worth a bit of money. And then they just kept them, haven't they? Well, him up for 200 years. Job done.
But he had them in his pockets. Like, so all I could think about was these big. Like one of them was like a python, the big python snake. But it was only a small version of it. So it was only a baby one, but it was still a good meter or so, and it was wrapped in his pocket.
Huh?
It was wrapped up in his pocket, and he had it in his pocket. So
how big was this man?
Well, this is what I was trying to work out. This was a legitimate story. It was like on Facebook on the Sky News feed, and I just cannot get my head round how he got through the first customs. Like you said, he could be. He's just mad. It's a mad. But
so the snake's a meter long.
Well, yeah. But 12 of them. There was 12. He had 12 snakes, different ones. There was a yellow and white one, python. There was the normal python, and then another couple of other things. They weren't like corn snakes or grass snakes that we get over here. They were literally proper
so this
snakes.
Man's pocket literally has to be 1 meter squared minimum, which means a pocket is like, I don't know, like 1/10 of your leg.
Maybe, yeah.
So this man is 10 meters tall.
Well, it's just ridiculous.
Is he from Norway? He's literally a giant, isn't he?
It just got me thinking about, like, because I remember going through customs, right, at Southend Airport when I was working in Holland, and Key and the kids were going to come out to visit me in Holland for a week, and Key said to me, "Can you take Josh's Nerf rocket thing with you and take it back with you, so I don't have to put it in our suitcase? We've got a bit more room." So I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll take it. I put, and I used to have a hand luggage bag, so I carried a hand luggage bag, and I went and I was out. I was going through customs, going through passport control, do all the bits and pieces, put my bag through the scanner, take my shoes off, take my belt off, and then go through. Now, I'm then watching my bag come through because Southend Airport's quite quick. I'm watching my bag come through. It gets knocked to the side. Usually it gets knocked to the side. They quickly open it, look at it and go, okay, no problem. Obviously, they've clocked this rocket-looking thing in my bag. So they're thinking, what's he got? So anyway, the bloke says, is this your bag? I'm like, yeah, that's my bag. He says, can you come over here? So they take me over to this separate desk and then they start taking everything out of my bag. There's pants in there, there's socks, there's a couple of T-shirts, and that's it. I didn't used to take a lot home for the weekends because I had clothes, my work clothes in Holland, and I had a set of clothes that I work with using in England. And anyway, he pulls out this rocket.
You just said that in a really funny way. Why would you have, like, if you have work clothes, they're just your work clothes, aren't they?
Yeah.
So why are they specifically for work clothes in Holland? Like, what happens if you mix that up? What happens if you take your UK work clothes to Holland and you have your Holland work clothes in the UK? Does that mean you can't wear them? It was you. You just made me laugh there.
Yeah, sorry. You're right. I don't know. It's a bit. It was just how I used to be. I used to have a set of clothes in Holland and I have a set of clothes in England, and that's what I used to do. And anyway, so going back to the bloke's called me over. He's emptied my bag out, and he pulls out this rocket out of the bag, and he goes to me, "What's this?" And I said, "Oh, that's a Nerf rocket. It's a ball, basically. It's shaped as a rocket, like a football, shaped as a rocket." And I'm taking it out there for my son. Well, you can't take this on the plane, sir. I was like, why not? I said, it's foam. It's a foam ball that's got a little bit of a towel on it. And when you throw it, it makes a whistle noise. It goes.
Oh, I had that one. That's wicked.
And that's what it did. That's what it does. It's
an American football thing.
Yeah, that's it. On it. That's it. Yeah, exactly that. One. So he goes to me. He calls over his supervisor, and the supervisor goes to me. Everything okay? I said, well, not really. I said, that's a kid's toy. It's a kid's toy that I'm taking out to Holland for my son, and you're telling me I can't take it through. Why can't I take it through? He says, well, to be honest, sir, it could be a lethal weapon. And I said, are you having a laugh? I said, how can this be a lethal weapon? I said, have you felt how soft it is? Do
you know what you should have done? When he said, you went, oh, is everything okay? And you went, oh, not really. You should have said, fuck, whoa, put it down.
Yeah.
Put it down.
Well, this is it.
Move.
This is exactly it. So, so I said, what am I going to do? I said to him, what am I going to do? Throw it under the pilot's bloody pedals on the plane or something like that. So, it's just, it gave me the right ump.
Or you should have done the Mick Dundee, shouldn't you?
What's that?
He goes, oh, I don't know, it could be like a weapon. You go, well, that's not a weapon. this is a weapon. And put out like a Mac 10 or something.
but it just blew my mind, and I was like, and he went to me, well, I'm really sorry, you can't take it through. They literally walked over to the bin with it and just threw it in the bin in front of me.
That's the goodie bin though, isn't it? How many times a day do they do that? They go, I got a mate, a really good friend of mine, right? But he's got a couple of quid, and he bought a really flashy watch. I won't say the names, I can't remember what it was anyway, but it was expensive. And he's just come back from Egypt. Yeah. And they said, take it off for the customs thing when you walk through the door with no frame.
The magnet thing, whatever it is.
He took his really expensive watch off, and it fell on the floor, but it broke the screen. And he said, oh, look, it's broke now. And the guy went, not my problem, mate. He was absolutely fuming. And he's like, text me a day saying, like, how much it is to fix. And I'm like, oh, mate, just claim on your holiday insurance or something. I don't know what you do.
But honestly, it's unreal. I can't for the life of me. It's a kid's toy. Do you know what I mean? And I said to him, my boy's gonna be devastated, absolutely devastated. He's gonna fly out here next week. He loved that rocket, like absolutely loved that little rocket thing. And we used to throw it about in the house, and the apartment I was staying in Holland was massive, so it was like perfect place to throw this thing around. But anyway, that's
I've got visions of Keith sat there on the sofa watching like telly, and you like throwing that round, knocking Captain T over.
knocking, it's just.
After all our £10 tea and coffee talk, it's cost me money because Amy wants to buy a coffee machine.
Oh, does she really? What one are you looking at?
Well, we went into Curry's and then we were like looking at them, and then like you walk down the line, there's like all like Starbucks things and Costa things, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then you go to like, and there's like a shrine then for like one with like beans in it, and you like
proper grinding one.
What's it called? Barista? Is it barista?
I don't know. Mate, I don't know. What's the reason? Is this because you moaned about the cost of coffee, or the cost?
She just loves coffee, but I think we really like that one, and then it was like 500 quid, and we were like, we really don't like that one. And then we were like, what do we want? We were like, oh, we just want the branded pod things, and then we found out it was like 50 quid. We were like, winner.
They are good, mate. They're well worth the money. I would say.
You got one?
Yeah, I've got. I don't know what one it is. I forget to buy the pods. If I'm honest,
that could be a problem.
I forget to buy the pods, so I come down and I look at it and I think, coffee pods, no pods. It's
so as long as you got like the coffee machine, cup, the milk, but no pod. You got like 75% of a 100% drink. You can't actually drink it.
Yeah, it's
very cost effective.
It's a bit annoying. It's a bit annoying, but I don't. I've got to be honest. I've had to cut back on it. I've had to cut back. It just becomes a bit of an addiction. It gives me headaches. To be honest with you, it's too much. It's too much.
Do you drink coffee? Or?
Yeah, I drink too much of it.
Really?
I get up in the morning. So let me give you a day in the life of Pete, right? And
no. You got to say that. Say that one more time.
What's that? Let me give you a day in the life of Pete. Life of Pete. Jesus.
Day in the life of Peter May.
So
that could be a program.
It's not. It would be a boring. It'll be a really boring program.
Who wants to see Tyson Fury when they can see Peter May?
Yeah, the life of me. So get up. I get up at 5. Get up at 5. I walk downstairs, put the kettle on straight away. That's the first thing I do every day. Put the kettle on, and I make myself a brew. And it's that's the first cup of tea. So that's
how many sugars?
I have one sweetener. So that's 1 cup of tea, right? And that's a
man.
That's 5:15 in the morning. Have you seen my teeth? That's a different story, by the way. I'll talk about that another time. So that's 5:15.
You've said that like you've got like, because some people are going to listen to this and they'll watch anything, and they're going to think you've got like big like piano yellow teeth. You haven't at all. Your teeth look really white.
They're not. No, I'm talking about the back teeth. The teeth you can't see. They're
the molars.
The molars. They're the ones.
No one cares about them though.
No.
As long as you've got like veneers on the front, it's fine.
I got to talk to you about tell you something else. Right, I'm going to see my granddad next week. My granddad's 97. He lives with my mum and dad. He'll tell you he's a millionaire. Every time you see him, he'll tell you he's a millionaire. He'll also tell you that his wife cheated on him throughout his life, because my nan's obviously passed away. And he'll also tell you that my nan cheated on him millions of times with the bus driver.
Is this the nan who went to Millwall?
Yeah, the nan who went to Millwall, right?
I like lampposts.
Yeah. So, and you're like, no, I don't believe you. And he's got pictures up in his bedroom that are in his room at my mum and dad's house of my nan, the family, his brother, his dad and his mum and all that. And he goes to me, he always goes to you. You go down and you go, "Hi, Granddad, how you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm all right." And I'm going to go to him, "I love these pictures. It reminds me of your house." And he goes, "I hate them all." He goes, "I absolutely hate them." He says, especially that one. And he points to my nan all the time. and he tells you a story about my nan cheating on him with a bus driver and all that. Don't believe a word of it. I think he's just going a bit senile. Anyway, going a bit around houses. He's got false teeth now, so proper set of false teeth. These false teeth are absolutely, they're really nice. They're really, really good. Paid a fortune for him. He sold his house, made a load of money that he's got in his bank. Obviously, he's too old to spend it. But my mum and dad took him to the dentist and got him some new false teeth. He will not stick them teeth in to his mouth. So when he wears them, he will not use the sticky stuff that they use to stick onto your gums.
Oh, the cement stuff.
The cement stuff for the day. So it's the day cement stuff that holds them in place. So,
yeah.
So when you're talking to him, his teeth drop out. Like, literally drop out.
For the ones you wind up.
They drop out. And he sort of like, you know, when he fumbles them in his mouth to get them back in. He pushes them back in. But the teeth are perfect. They're absolutely perfect. And it makes me giggle every time I'm talking to him because I can't take him seriously because he's got these Simon Cowell teeth, bright white veneers that just fall out of his mouth every time. But he does make me laugh.
My old man's the same. Like my dad, I think he's had false teeth for as long as I've known, and he's got older. My dad's in his 70s now. But very recently, he's had to get new teeth.
Yeah.
And they're like brand new. So I went to see him like recently. And when he smiles, I'm like, you handsome man. He's got such nice teeth.
It's brilliant. Do you know what? I am teeth. It's again, teeth are another thing now, aren't they? With like your teeth, the way people look, the boob jobs, the bum jobs, and all that stuff. The teeth are another thing, aren't they? People want to get their teeth done. The Botox. Why do we live in a world like that where people care so much about how they look and what they look like?
I had this conversation with a really good friend of mine, and he wanted to get like turkey style teeth, and he's a good looking guy. And I said, why on earth do you want to like? He's got really nice teeth. But why on earth do you want to get like mental like turkey teeth? Because all the dentists think they're a really bad idea. And he was like, oh, because I want to look. I'm like, yeah, you mate, you're nuts, absolutely nuts. Why you want to do it? I got no idea. And I did talk him out of it, but I really don't get it. Like, why would you want to have it? Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've had my front teeth bonded, which is like putting a spoiler on them, basically.
that's all you can imagine.
They're my real teeth.
Yeah.
And the dentist said to me, he goes, well, you're not going to want to like, he said, what do you want to look like? I said, I want to like Simon Cowell. He goes, listen, he said, you don't want to look like Simon Cowell because when people look at you, you want to look like they're real.
Yeah.
He said, if you look like Simon Cowell, nothing against Simon Cowell, like if he ever wants to sponsor us or do anything like that, but like he looks like a picture perfect kind of smile, doesn't he? And that's not. It doesn't look like normal teeth.
It's the same with all these. It's all these things, and it's. I just can't get my head around it. That why people are so desperate to have perfect teeth. Why people are so desperate to have the perfect body. It just doesn't. To me, does it make? If it makes you happy, fine. It's down to you at the end of the day.
Makes me happy.
What, having a perfect body?
I've been really good lately.
But
my biggest problem is drinking.
But at the end of the day, right? You're happy. At the end of the day, you're happy.
How do you know?
Or are you? Or are you not?
How do you know? We might not be.
I'd assume you are because we talk like every week and we have a good laugh.
Well, it's a disguise.
It's a front. It's a front.
I'm dying inside.
We're all dying inside, mate. Don't worry about that.
No, but like what you're making is like I'm probably bigger than I've ever been in the, how would I describe it, the cellulite group of people, and like I weighed the other day, and I put a battery in my weighing scales. Why my wife bought a digital one, so I had to put a battery in. I don't know. I just want the windy one. It's much easier.
Yeah.
I was 19 stone.
That's not bad though. It's not
Well,
bad.
good.
It's not
It's
good,
not
and
good.
it's not good, and it's.
But listen to this. I've been walking every morning, like 2-3 miles.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, like it's really nice. It clears your head.
Yep.
And I've gone from 19 stone, and I weighed today, and I was 18.10.
That's all right.
£4.
It's good.
That's like four bags of sugar.
That's good. Yeah, but the difference.
I know it's good. I'm telling you, it's good.
All I'm trying to say is that you don't. As long as you feel happy. Some people like they're happy going to the gym every day. That's what they do. I understand that. But I in my head, just I find it a chore. I don't mind doing a day or two, but I find it a chore, and I find it that there's much more other things I can be doing. You
were a big road cyclist, weren't you?
Yeah.
Sorry. So like you were very fit at one point.
Yeah.
Am I lying if I said that's addictive?
Yeah, it is addictive, but also I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to eat anything that was going to particularly make me feel like I've eaten too much and that I'm going to lose the. So road cycling is a funny sport, right? Road cycling, obviously, you wear your lycra, you go out and you're super skinny, and the skinnier you are, the faster you go. That's the whole ethos of it. So when you eat a big meal and you see a bit of a pot belly or whatever, you feel unhappy. You make you feel unhappy about it because you think automatically, oh, that's going to affect me. That's going to affect the riding. That's going to do this. That's going to do that. Ultimately, that meal was delicious, right? And you love that. You love to eat that meal.
Do you get more angry if it was a really, like, say if you had a meal and it was a shit meal and you didn't enjoy it? Would that be worse?
Well, but yeah, that's the thing. Like you've got to balance. You've got to balance it out, haven't you? At the end of the day, you got to balance it out, and you got to find that happy medium. Like I would talk to my dad, and he would say, "Oh, I just eaten a sandwich, and I just done this, I just done that," because he's a big road cyclist, and he also was like to keep the weight off because obviously the smaller you are, the faster you go up hills, etc., etc. That's road cycling mentality. You don't see.
Who got you into it?
Yeah, my dad got me into it because he liked it. I went out of him, enjoyed it, and got into it the way I did. But it's just, I don't know. Like it's the same with running. Running's the same. People that run, and I had it with running because I did triathlon a few times, and I trained for triathlons, and I did my running, and I did 3 miles, 4 miles a day every day. So I ran the 5K that I was going to do in the triathlon every day, and I did that. And I got very obsessed about it because then I become obsessed with the speed and
yeah.
So
what was your fastest mile?
My fastest mile was about 5 minutes. I used to be able to do on a running machine. Not on the street, on a running machine, I could do 5K in about 19 minutes on a running machine.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, but that's fast. But that's what I'm saying. You become addicted to it. So you push yourself. So you don't eat properly. You don't drink properly. You don't drink alcohol.
What weight were you though?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I was about 11 stone.
Oh, were you?
11, or about 12 stone, just under 12 stone.
Whippersnapper.
Yeah, but I look at them pictures now of myself when I did the triathlon and when I did all that, and I'm too skinny, and I look miserable.
Do you go, who's laughing now?
Well, I do because I'm a big fat bastard now. And
I think I was quite fit a few years ago. And I was about 15.5 stone, and my fastest minutes were about 7:15.
Yeah,
But that's a heavy weight for that speed.
it is, and that's the thing. I don't know, mate, it's
I ran faster when there was a cake in front of me.
like in them Scooby Doo episodes or something like that, where they
They used to do the Cardiff Half Marathon. Used to end in the Millennium Stadium. It was back then, which is the Principality now.
Yeah.
And my mate did it when you ran the whole thing, and then you got to the bit when you run into the stadium, and there was a guy dressed as a banana, and he was like running around the track, and he was like, "There is no way on this earth that banana is going to run past me when my family's watching me on the big screen." And I was like, "Oh, that's quite a funny story." And then I ran it like a year later, and I was going towards the end of the Cardiff half, and there's this guy dressed as Batman. It was going, "Go on, Batman! Go on, Batman!" I thought they were talking to me. I don't know why. I just like Batman, and I thought like really random.
Was he dressed up?
And I turned around, and Batman's chasing me, and I'm like sprinting to the finish to beat Batman, and it was like a real sense of achievement. I did beat Batman.
That could go on your CV. Not many people beat Batman. It could be
next to Paperboy to the Paperboy round.
Paperboy and Batman. Beat Batman. But no, let's say it's. I don't know. Like I just. I never found that I was extremely happy. Like when you're dieting, I don't feel extremely happy when you diet and all that. I don't see the point of it, mate. To be honest with you, in my opinion,
I do. I see. I'm the opposite because I like both. Sorry, I'm coughing all the time. I'm muting myself. I like both because when I was really fit and I was running or anything like that, because believe it or not, I used to ride road bikes as well. I love the fitness side of it. I come home, I'd be angry if I couldn't go out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then when I'm not training like I am now, I love drinking so much.
But the thing is, like for me, you have a stressful job. You have a long day at work. The last thing that I think of doing, I get home at 7 o'clock at night. The last thing I think of doing is going out, running the streets, or going on my bike. I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've been at work all day. And the last thing I've sat on trains for 5 hours. The last thing I think about is doing that.
I think when you do exercise, it helps you mentally, because I think if you get fresh air and you're breathing and doing it, it helps. But with what you're doing, because you work like you're working in a really busy place like in London and whatever, and you're traveling, you're getting up early. I think this is cool.
Yeah,
I think I am. What my nickname could be, Lou the Therapist.
Lou, it feels like a bit.
Just vent to me, Pete.
Feels like a therapy session today, to be honest. It feels like a bit. But we've massively sidetracked. I was going to tell you about a day in the life of Pete. I don't know if do you want me to tell you? I was going to tell you how many cups of tea and coffee I drank, but we've just spent 10 minutes talking about.
I do want to know that, but before you start, can you tell me why you have sweetener and not sugar?
I have sweetener because that just goes back to my training days, really, and I just stopped having sugar, but I had to have sweetener in like the tea sweet, so I just started taking sweeteners.
I don't think I've heard anyone have an advert for that. So if anyone's listening, we could advertise for sweetener. he could have a cup of tea every episode, and we could advertise for sweetener. So if you're interested,
Candle, innit? Candle.
Drop us an email.
Candle. Candle sweeteners.
Well, don't say it before they get in touch. We just
or you could just send us a free supply of sweeteners.
Yeah, lifetime supply. You'd be buzzing around everywhere chewing them.
Little packs of them, just chucking it down the throat. So what else you been up to this week? You been up to anything else this week?
I've had a bit of a whirlwind of a week. Like, I've missed the guy I work with, Neil. He was like a really good friend of mine. He's been away on holiday. He's gone to France and he's been planning it for ages. He's bought like his camper van, and he used to work at Renault. And every time he talks in our office. He said, when I used to work at Renault, when I used to this. And a really cool fact about him, I'm going to put it on YouTube, not YouTube, Twitter. He's driven a Formula One car.
No, shut the front door.
There is a story about it. Why have I not told you this before?
Now I'm jealous. Now I'm
if
jealous.
You know Pete's into his racing, Supermain Racing, YouTube, drop that in there. He's driven a Formula One car. I can't remember where. I can't remember when.
So annoying.
But he's driven a Renault Formula One car.
We have to have a chat about this offline.
Yeah, it's there's a video of it and everything. It's on YouTube.
Is that the one? Is that the one of this guy? Is that the one of this guy that got to go to France, the Paul Ricard circuit or Magny Cours, and he drives round in the old Formula One car? I've seen a video of a person.
I don't think it's an old one. It's like it was quite current at the time, and they had a big thing like if you stall it, you can stall it once. If you do stall it, that's the end of it, and you won't be driving it.
Yeah.
But I think he stalled it once. He got 2 chances, and the second time he got through, and he went round, and he's going to kill me for not telling an accurate story because he tells it in such depth. But basically, every time he goes, oh, when I was at Renault, and he loves Renault. So he's bought this Renault camper van, and he's like converted it, and he's gone to France in it. But for the last 3 weeks, all I've been playing in the office is Bonnie Tyler, Lost in France. And I said, when you're on holiday, I said, when you're going to France, I said, if you don't play me Bonnie Tyler, Lost in France, me and you are having words. So for the last 4 days, all the WhatsApps I've had is in the van, riding his bike, on the beach, singing Lost in France.
Brilliant.
I don't know. Can I try? I think I might have one of them. I don't know.
Go on. If
it's going to work.
You can play it.
2 secs.
Pete, serious moment.
No, I've gone over it. But yeah, he's driven a Formula One car.
It's Pete serious moment.
I can't even remember how we got onto this.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind. It's been a bit of a weird podcast this week, mate. It's been a bit of a strange one. It's we've been a bit all over the place this week. I know we said we'd excuse me, I'll just burp then. I do apologise. I know we said like these are not planned, but as Key said to me earlier, she said, actually I've got to tell you a quick story. Key listened to last week's podcast and she said to me it was really funny. She really enjoyed it. She said, do you know I've got a place in work called Fart Alley? And I said, no. Well, what do you mean? She said, there's a place in the work where she goes to fart, and it's now known as Fart Alley because people walk down there and it stinks of fart. It's
all the time. It's just a natural aroma of the alley.
It's basically like an aisle, and she walks down this aisle. She farts, and then people will go down there later to pick an item, and it stinks of fart basically. And she told me that story, and it made me laugh. And I said, brilliant. Like Faith's telling me that. I'm going to tell the world now. You go down an aisle where you work and fart. But what she said to me, what she actually said to me was, have you spoken about what you're going to do?
She said, don't tell anyone about Fart Alley.
Yeah, she did. Well, she did say that, but I said I'm going to tell people anyway. You've told me now, so it's going out there. But she said, have you spoke about it? Have you spoke about what you're going to talk about? I said, well, the whole idea of it is we don't talk about what we're going to talk about, and we just we have this, what you call it, as you call it, a therapy session, and we just talk. And at the end of it, I end up smiling, I end up laughing, and I feel really good at the end of the podcast. And if people feel as good as I do after they've listened to it, then it's a win-win, isn't it?
We've had that since lockdown, haven't we? Since we met each other, and like I talk to you all the time, and that's why we said like we should do a podcast because we talk all the time.
Yeah.
And like even with like we we met playing video games, and there's 2 other guys that we play with.
We've mentioned them before.
And we played last night, and I've never laughed so much in all my life. Like, we had such a good time. We were really bad, and we all know it, but it was really good.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what I said to her. This is all about. It's a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh, and we can talk. We just do our 50 minutes, which means we're going to wrap up any moment now, and then we come again next week, and that's all we do. So
yeah,
I think on that note, I think we'll wrap this podcast up this week. Is it
bad if I'm really sad that we're ending it? I really look forward to these now.
Well, I do. I look forward to the fact that we get to sit here for 50 minutes. People actually, the fact that, do you know what I like? Is friends actually message us to say, when's the next one coming out? And it's quite amusing that people actually ask. Like, I find it bizarre that people actually want to know when this is coming out.
That's what I was going to ask you. Were you nervous about sharing it on Facebook?
Not really. I just pressed the share button. I think I've done it so many times now with other things that I don't care what people think of me. I don't care.
I haven't said one thing. I shared it, and one guy who I know, Mike, his name is, and he messaged me, very London. Yeah, because the guy's from London, isn't he? So it's not going to be like anything else, really.
Right, governor. How are we doing, governor? There's part of me that thought, I wonder what people think. But you know what? Facebook, people do not give a. Let's be clear, right? Before we wrap this up, you share something on Facebook.
You tell him, Pete.
You share something on Facebook as you do,
Give it to him.
whether it's your family photos or whatever. 90% of them people do not give two hoots about you being on holiday or you doing a certain activity. It's the people that comment on your post. 90% of them are grandparents, mums, dads, sisters, brothers, sisters. No, but so
you're right.
Well,
right.
but I had the same as you. I shared it on my Facebook. Some friends picked it up, and some friends have listened, and some friends have enjoyed it.
Do you know what made me laugh last week? What did you say when you went to Spain and you went El Bugio and El Butio?
El Bugio and El Butio.
I need to go to Spain with you. We should go with the families.
Can I tell you one more? I know we said we was going to wrap this up. I can tell you one more story about Spain. So when me and Key went to Lanzarote, she said to me, "Do you remember any?" No, sorry, it wasn't this holiday. It was a holiday. I think it was a holiday before, holiday after. No, it was a holiday before. We went to Spain, and we went with my mum and dad. The second week, we went. Two of our friends flew out to Spain, and Kay went to me. Do you remember much Spanish from when you was at school? I said, not really. All I remember was all I remember from my Spanish days was calling my teachers, calling out shithead in my class in Spanish. She said, well, can you remember what it is? And I said, I think it's something like mierda cabeza. So it's that shithead, I think, in Spanish. And all we was doing was get out of the beer. Key kept shouting out, mierda cabeza, mierda cabeza. And so she's thinking she's walking around calling everyone shithead. And so yeah, we're quite bad. We're quite bad for things like that. But yeah, that's I'm not going into too much detail. But
I can't go back there.
Can't go there anymore. but yeah, let's on that note. I think we should wrap it up. I think I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's listened to the podcast today or to date, and it's been a blast, and I love it, and I love doing it, and we are going to try and get a few bankers in the archive, so we're ready to post out some more, because I know some people want us to do more, but obviously it's time consuming doing it, getting it. Not so much editing, because this is the reason we do it. We do it because it's fresh. And I think we're going to try and get a few more in the bank. So we've got some there. we will start to we do record them video wise, and I think we've set a sort of ourselves a milestone to release them in the future. We're not going to release them now, but we will do, like little clips. Agreed, Lou?
I got something really funny with that. You know the NVIDIA software you get?
Yeah.
I found something when you your eyes don't lock on, or your eyes lock on. So if you're looking left or right, it looks straightforward. They're like Roger Rabbit. I'll have to try that.
So we will. So yeah, we will. We've set ourselves a little goal in the future. So when we hit that number, we're not going to tell you that number right now, but if you like, follow, subscribe, and all that on all the various platforms, then we will release video content.
Or do we just go crazy and we'll upload this one?
No, I don't think we do. I don't think we do yet. I think we leave it.
We dangling the carrot.
I think we dangled a carrot. We could release a teaser of it, but for now, I think we just leave it as it is.
Get our makeup on.
Yeah, get our makeup on, do our hair properly, and all that stuff. And but no, let's wrap it up. Thanks very much for listening, guys. We appreciate your listens to date. We appreciate that we've kept you entertained, and we'll keep going.
Pete, serious moment.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much for listening. Bye bye for now.